So yesterday, Eskom is like, hey, it's stage 3, load shedding. We can't do nothing about it. This morning, we wake up, stage 6, immediate effect. Huh? But then I thought, some of you, similar. Last night, your status, I don't need anybody in my life. I'm living a single life. And you're getting Jelenex. This morning, nishatil. Really? Huh? Like, ni champa master, ni Western, ni Eskom. Let's talk about it. Okay, it's your friend Dr. S, just wants to help you. Valentine's was the other day, and I see there are a lot of new relationships in my feed. People are finding ulove or finding ulike or finding ulast asaz gutini, and I was like, you know what, let's talk. And you know, I'm being load shed right now. What else can I do but use them as a metaphor? Ngoba nina. Okay, so I wrote things down so that I don't just speak out of anger. So just like load shedding, relationships have stages. I don't know if you didn't know that. Maybe you didn't realize it, or because we're living in this era where we're all just, you know, instant, we forget that actually things go from stage 1 and go up, you know. And that's maybe why this video had to be made, because I'm realizing maybe people don't know what there must be stages. We don't Eskom. We don't stage 3, stage 6, stage 1, stage 7. I mean, guys, if like you jump from stage 1 to stage 6 overnight, you are vulnerable to a complete and utter blackout. Blackout is worse than heartbroken. It's just everything dark, black, death. I just came up with some stages and their names. This is not like accurate, it's not scientific, but you know, it might relate. You might feel it and be like, you know what, I think that's me. So if it doesn't apply to you, just press like, subscribe. Maybe there'll be a better video where it applies to you. Feel me? Sure. So let's say stage 1. It's very low risk, low impact, you know, nisakhulumisana, you know, just getting each other's attention, getting to know each other, light stuff, man, maybe even casual dates with other people. But this is not your boyfriend or your girlfriend. Like, you're not dating, like, committed. It's not a relationship. Some of you call it a talking stage, fine. But, you know, stage 1 is really low impact. Stage 1 doesn't mean there will be a relationship. We're just trying to see stuff. We're trying to make time. And I think what I'm seeing a lot happening is like, because we live in a messaging era, stage 1, we can talk all the time. You know, there are no buffers. Because, you know, in the past, something as simple as expensive airtime, man, we couldn't just chat every day. Expensive SMS bundles, we couldn't just chat every day, every moment of the day. So like, there was time. And that's one of the things I'm seeing for all of you, is that there just isn't buffering time. Stage 2 is really where like we're increasing our emotional investment. We're starting to share personal stories. We're starting to build trust. But again, in stage 2, it's not the time for you to say your deepest, darkest trauma, because there's a trauma bond. Then stage 3 is where, like, you know, commitment is starting to deepen. You know, you're starting to meet more of this person's friends. You know, there may be some small conflicts here and there, because communication starts to become a more important concept, because, you know, you've invested a little bit more time, and therefore there are a little bit more expectations. And this is where then you're starting to, you know, get to know, how does this person handle when I'm a little bit upset. You know, the honeymoon phase of talking and getting to know each other is sort of starting to leave, because we're not yet dating. But with so much time we've been talking, are we not in a relationship technically? You know, But honestly, probably this is where a decision has to be made, because as you're starting to make those little conflicts, you're like, Kanti, what are we doing? Are we dating or not? Are we in a relationship? Are we boyfriend, girlfriend, they friend? What are we? Because you can't have these expectations if I'm not meant to be committed to you. And this is usually where we start saying, Sisyajola. Stage 4, we get into like, a little bit more emotional reliance, because now you're starting to really trust this person, be with this person, even maybe starting to talk about the future, because now we're a couple, We're a couple, we're starting to announce it, we're starting to post, if you haven't been posting already. And then like stage 5, it's very like high intensity, Some of you, this is where you start like living with each other, because what's the point? You're already in each other's lives every day. And let me tell you this for free. Stop moving in with each other. Really. What's this thing? Because all you're doing is there are financial entanglements. Man, just mix some imali, nama budget, and we're feeling exposed emotionally because you no longer have that escape. In the past, when you had your place, they had their place, you lived at home, they lived at home. There are just some of your emotions that you could figure out on your own in privacy. So manje, why are you fat and setting? Why are you sitting and living with this person? Because this is where recipe for disaster. Recipe for disaster, because you have no escape. That's why get married and move in with the person when you're married. Because you made bigger commitments, they are stuck with you so fast. But manjol, hey. But then stage 6 is what I call like the full blackout, because fundamentally when you're dependent on each other, you're ignoring red flags, like you're creating like a lot of lifelong commitments with this person, but it's not healthy. It's not healthy because in stage 5, you're cohabiting. So now there's too much commitment for this thing to fail. So when you're starting to see yesterday this person's not good, but I'm financially dependent, I'm emotionally dependent. Our things are just complicated and conflicted and confused. So these stages are what I'm observing going on a lot, where if one would progress stage by stage, you would inevitably see potential danger if things were unhealthy, if things didn't have a foundation, and you could quit it. But here's then what happens. You were stage 1, talking phase, and then jumped to 6 without any foundation work. And then what tends to happen? There's like emotional burnout, because like you've been sharing your deepest, darkest secrets with that person you met 2 weeks back. So now this thing can't end. All my age. Like you can tell the whole world and people can destroy me. Like what? See yourself become so easily disappointed by how this person handles you. Because in your mind, you're like, after I told you everything about me, why would you do that? Why would you betray me? Why would you still be late? Why would you be inconsiderate? When you know everything about me. And it's like, yeah, you jump steps. You jump steps. I didn't deserve to know all those things. And then we have like, unrealistic expectations, Because what happens when we move too fast? Is that like, we found ourselves thinking that this person is the one. And that's why we ignored people's advice when they were like, you're moving fast, slow down. So now you have these crazy expectations. You don't even know if this person can do it. You don't even know if this person wants to do it. You don't even know if this person would even do it well. But because you jump steps and you started to alienate yourself from so many people, you're going to put everything you expect in life on them, instead of friends who are the ones who should have had those expectations on. Your parents should have been the one you had those expectations on, not your joint partner. We never knew this person. Next thing, we see them with you everywhere. You're moving in together, or you basically should be moving in together because you're always on top of each other, sleeping over at each other's places. Like you alienate yourself from people because people feel uncomfortable. And because they're your friend, they don't want to lose the friendship, but they also don't want to keep quiet and be blamed when something goes wrong. And people are like, why didn't the friend say anything? So you put people in a weird spot. So then you're just vulnerable to things like being manipulated, vulnerable to being stuck in a space with someone you should never have trusted, but you are scared of admitting it to people because you have jumped steps and probably said stuff you shouldn't have said to your real friends when they tried to warn you. When you start to see red flags, when you've invested too much too quickly, you're going to ignore that stuff because you don't want to look like an idiot. Because you already in your mind are thinking, hey, the minute I say I had to end it because this person was doing this and this and this, people will be like, but stop jail. So what do? You end up like, Yazin, let me give this person the benefit of the doubt, right? So honestly, I get it. I'm not in the dating game. I've been successfully out of the dating game for over a decade and I am relieved. I get it. There's actually never a formula that will guarantee a great relationship, but there are very clear things you can be doing. And there are things you can be doing that will for sure result in blackout, hurt, turmoil, disappointment, anger, bitterness, therapy. I shouldn't even be making this video because I'm potentially saying I don't want you as a client one day where we talk about him or her or they that hurt your feelings. But I don't want those. I don't want that. Protect. Our friends don't let each other break hearts easily. What would be a much healthier way of trying to do this? First of all, just natural growth. I think if you know, you tend to want whoever you start to talk to become your boyfriend, your girlfriend, or your they friend. Slow it down. Slow it down, slow it down, slow it down, slow it down. If need be, create obvious barriers. See the person only on the weekend. During the week, be a school child. Text when you need to text, but you're just creating sobriety. Because what is the number one guarantee that whoever you're talking with can become your boyfriend or your girlfriend or your day friend is if you see them every day, talk to them every day, do everything with them. You're already pretending to be dating, even if you're calling it the talking phase. And that bond, man, it's called quality time. That's why when you spend time with anyone, you will love them. It's just common sense. So embrace like the getting to know each other phase. So time helps you see more of this person's values, how they expect things, how they handle stuff, because time does that. In the beginning, it's all an interview. And in an interview, I know all the right things to say. But if we just stretch, man, the getting to know each other phase, life will naturally create interesting dramas where you are then observing, how does this person handle it? Then you can decide if like, I genuinely want to be in a romantic relationship with the potential of being a commitment where we build together. If this person handles things like this, because we all know the right answer. Okay? So those interview questions in the beginning, and maybe they'll protect you from an obviously terrible human being because they don't even care enough to say the answer that will impress you. But the most of us are just good people who don't want to be rejected. So we will say the things we know need to be said. So time is going to allow you to see, do they mean it? Is that their real value? How do they handle stuff? You know? And then pace emotional vulnerability. So right now, all of us are learning all the nice catchphrases to sound woke, to sound like we are connected with ourselves, that we are reflective, and that we are compassionate, and that we want only the best for the people we are engaging with. Like, the language exists. We can fake these things. So don't jump to be emotionally vulnerable with someone you would like to date. when you suck at being emotionally vulnerable to your friends, maybe to your family, to people who have said and through proof are committed to you in your life. Those people deserve your emotional vulnerability first, not someone you're trying to date. Okay, that definitely aids you to jump steps. You will jump stages so quickly if you are emotionally vulnerable to a person too soon. Let me tell you why. As human beings, if you tell me the worst thing that has ever happened to you, I feel compelled to tell you the worst thing that has happened to me. And now we feel bonded or bound by knowing this thing that is so private. And now none of us want to actually be the person who leaves a person after hearing them be so emotionally vulnerable, because you can't help but assume this person's gonna think it's because of what they told you. So now you are too scared. So now you're gonna just try and time the ending of this thing to be longer apart from the day they told you their deepest secret, so that they don't think it's because of the secret, right? But then when you now keep postponing ending this thing, new things will be shared with you and you're just caught in a trap. So just don't do it. Be vulnerable with your friends. Be vulnerable with your family. Be vulnerable with people who've stuck it out with you. Do not give someone the easy shortcut of being connected and attached to you by telling them your thing. And some of you, let me just stop. Some of you know what you're doing. You know what you're doing. You know when you talk about your daddy issues or your mother issues or the things that happened to you when you were young or when you were bullied or whatever, that it fast tracks someone connecting to you. So you've been using it. You've been using it. Stop. Stop. Okay. I'm back. Sorry. Set boundaries and respect red flags. Listen. Red flags are 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 red flags. You are not a hero. And I think what's happening a lot now in these streets, from what I'm observing, is we've all understood we can't change people. Now we think, I'm not trying to change you. I'm just accepting you for who you are. Hey! Okay. Okay. Let me stop. Don't do that. Don't do that. You're not helping. You're not helping, because those red flags, you need to also communicate to them to be like, bro, sis, go get help. Go get help. This is not good. It's not good. It's not good. Please. No. Stop it. Stop it. If you care about someone, you genuinely want them to address red flags that are harmful. Because those red flags aren't just red flags that will affect you and them dating. They are potentially the red flag that prevents them from succeeding at school or at their job or in other friendships and relationships. So those red flags will become your burden for the rest of your life, because when you are accepting them for who they are. We don't do that. Please. Like I said, I don't want you just to be my clients because of these things. Let's do other things. And setting boundaries, in the beginning, just being clear that, there was a life I had before I met you. And because we're still in the talking phase, because it's still an early relationship, I will still prioritize the life I had before I met you. And through time, you will become more and more of a priority. That should be the most obvious boundary. But I think what tends to happen is we want to give the talking phase the best chance possible, so we kill everything else in our life and we prioritize this human being. Man, that's a lack of boundaries. That's the first boundary that, because it didn't exist, it's going to impact every other facet of your life. Don't do that. And then just enjoy each stage fully. That's why I'm saying time helps. You could actually have met someone in a talking phase that becomes a brilliant friend because you allow time to naturally show you if this is a candidate for a romantic relationship or a friend that's going to be there with you through the thicks and the thins of your life. Taking your time, because someone being in a relationship with you is meant to be special. But yeah, if this triggered you, sign up for therapy. It's called. Leave a comment if there's other stuff you feel like, hey man, can we talk about this also, because I don't know what to do, and then maybe we can help. Sharp. Ivan Sharp.